Was Abraham Lincoln a president?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just a whatever publical figure.
Welcome back to Delulu Diaries, where the timelines don't match, but the receipts always do. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at Mamalynn and how she relates to Amberlynn. I have a couple of clips that I've pulled from Apathetic Facts, which I usually don't like to do, but it is a little harder to find older clips, so let's go ahead and get into those.
All right, you guys, finally leaving the emergency room. I was here for like 10 hours. They did an ultrasound and they saw no blood clot. So they gave me a number for like a specialist. So I'm going to call there and schedule an appointment. So we're staying outside of the Denny's. We went to eat here. Thanks for taking me to the hospital twice. It's been a mess.
Yeah, long hours there. We were there from like 4 p.m. to like...
What time is it right now?
midnight.
Yeah.
At the ER. Yeah.
Midnight. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But why'd you go to Denny's after the hospital? My mom was hungry, and I'm not gonna lie, so was I. I didn't go to the hospital for some like crazy critical thing. My mom said she was not gonna go home and like cook something. Like eating is still a thing that happens regardless if someone goes to a hospital or not. And I got a salad at Denny's.
Okay, so just to play devil's advocate, Apathetic Facts said that this was like Mamalynn enabling her because every time they go to the hospital, they go out to eat right afterwards. And I want to push back on that a little bit because I've been to the hospital a couple of times in my life, and very rarely do I get out of the hospital and go home and make a homemade meal for myself, because usually you're sitting around waiting for quite some time. It's emotionally exhausting because you don't know what's wrong and you're just like wanting to get your diagnosis and get out of there. So I think that that is a normal response. And looking at the option of where they went, at least in this clip, they went to Denny's, which traditionally is not a good restaurant, but it sounds like they both got a salad. So if we believe Amber that she got a salad at Denny's, then that doesn't seem like enabling to me, especially because you know that most likely what happened is that Mamalynn said, oh, let's go to Denny's. They have a salad I like. And then she made Amber order the salad as well so that she would be having at least a healthier choice. So I don't know. I feel like that is excusable.
So my mom has never had Chick-fil-A before. Oh, that does look good.
It's good, don't it?
Yes.
So it seems like a lot of Apathetic Facts' video about Mamalynn being an enabler is just pointing out how frequently they go out to eat. And I understand that. I don't think that Amber should be going out to eat, but I also think that Mamalynn is working with what she has. Because first of all, Amberlynn is a very picky eater. She's very specific on what she views as like worthy of eating, I guess, which is crazy to say because I understand you can look at the size of her and think that she's not picky, but she has a huge thing where like chicken has to be extremely dried out and overcooked. Sometimes she looks at stuff and just gets the ick, like hot dogs. She will look at the inside and be like, oh, it looks raw, so my brain's telling me not to eat it. So imagine trying to like prepare a homemade meal for this woman. She's probably not going to eat it. So it looks to me like Mamalynn is trying to steer Amber towards healthy choices when they eat out, when she's able to. Now, unfortunately, while Mamalynn got the fruit, we can see on Amber's tray that she got the little side mac and cheese, but she did also get a chicken salad wrap, it looks like. So it's not the best possible choice, but it's not as bad as taking her out to like McDonald's or something like that. So that's why I kind of feel like maybe Mamalynn does try to push her more towards healthy food when possible.
Salad at bingo today instead of a huge thing of potato wedges. Like, I'm very proud of that. My mom got chocolate chip cookies, asked if I wanted one, and I said no. Normally at night, like that's when I eat probably the most unhealthy options, but instead I chose salmon, Brussels sprouts, rice. Like, that's a good choice. I was able to say no to the cookie at bingo. And also when I got my Chick-fil-A, which I love getting a cookie from Chick-fil-A, I didn't even get one then. So I said no to sweets more than I said yes, and that makes me proud. When my mom was taking me grocery shopping, actually, she was like, do you want to stop and get an ice cream cone? And that's something her and I would do frequently. And I literally said no. I was shocked that I said no. I think my mom was shocked that I said no. I literally looked at her and I said, Mom, if I do not lose weight now, I will not be here in a few years. It kind of like left the car silent, I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of heavy. That's kind of a heavy thing to say to your mom. And it's weird because I know my mom really wanted the ice cream cone and she wasn't gonna get one unless I was gonna get one. So then it made me feel guilty and I felt bad because I know she was looking forward to it.
This is where I feel like Mamalynn's enabling behavior does shine through. because it's in the little treats. You don't really think about it very frequently when you're an overweight person, because you do things like you have a whole great day of eating and then you mess it up with the little treats. And that's where I really see Mamalynn coming through. It's the little ice cream, the little cookie, the little try some of these chips. Oh, try a bite of this, whatever. That's where I do see her being an enabler. I think it's something that's very difficult to reconcile, the fact that Americans largely bond over food. Like, that is a huge thing in our culture. Usually if you're meeting a friend, you go to lunch. If you're having a date, it's a dinner date. And I'm not saying that that's the only option. I'm just saying that that is very common. When people think about gathering, getting together, sharing moments, it's usually surrounding food. So for Mamalynn, I think that's her way of reconnecting with her daughter, especially because they had so long of being separated and Mamalynn did not give Amberlynn a very good childhood. So I think that that all kind of factors into these enabling behaviors. I think it would be very difficult to come into your child's life and just suddenly be like, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to be a very strict parent. Like, I think she just doesn't want to lose her, and that makes her a little bit less likely to be as hard on Amber's food choices as the rest of us are.
Does Mamalynn ever discourage you from making bad food choices? No, because I think she also understands. Now we're at some place called Golden Chicken. I have no idea. My mom wanted to come here, so I got like a chicken salad. My mom went to go order us some dinner. We're gonna have their nachos grande or whatever it's called. So yay. Go get some lunch together. So today I am staying home, so everything I will be eating will be at home. There will be no Uber takeout. The only time I allow myself to eat like restaurant food is if I physically go there myself. So if I'm with my mom or family or friends, everything is thrown in there pretty messily. I don't really have that much time because I'm actually about to go out to dinner with my mom and her boyfriend.
Okay, so this is where I'm a little confused again, because first Amber says that Mamalynn never discourages her bad eating habits, but she closes her eyes a little bit when she says it, which is one of her tells for lying. And I also find it hard to believe that Mamalynn never comments on what Amber is eating, so I don't know how to take that part. And then she says that she goes to this restaurant and Mamalynn was the one who wanted to go, but Mamalynn's getting a salad, so she's getting a salad. And that kind of plays into my whole, like, maybe Mamalynn is taking her to places that have healthier options. But then we get to bingo and Amberlynn says that Mamalynn is getting them dinner and that they're getting nachos bel grande. The thing that's hard to determine for me there is, like, is that the healthiest thing on the menu? Because traditionally, bingo does not offer very healthy choices. And also the way she phrases it sounds like they could be sharing it. So if I'm giving Mamalynn the benefit of the doubt, maybe she's doing her best in a shitty situation. But at the same time, like, they always eat when they go to bingo. If you have to eat out, like, let's just say that Amberlynn is not willing to eat a home-cooked meal. If you have to eat out, why not go to a place that's a little bit healthier before you go to the bingo hall if you know that the healthiest thing on their menu is the nachos bel grande? So I definitely have to say that I'm leaning more towards Mamalynn being an enabler than not, but I still want to have like this lens of devil's advocate as we go through this so that at the end I feel like we gave her the benefit of the doubt before we form our full opinion.
This looks amazing.
And then here's mine.
I get your leftovers.
Yeah, I always give her my leftovers, always.
All right, so just so that we have receipts for the end when we go over our full opinion, Mamalynn has ordered a soup, and we see that Amberlynn has quite a large plate of not the best for you food. And Mamalynn says, oh, I'm going to take her leftovers at the end. So there's some evidence both ways. On the one hand, Mamalynn should not have taken her to a restaurant that has such bad choices because, you know, usually I would say whatever, if you want to have like a full plate of Americanized Mexican food, that's fine, go for it. But in somebody like Amber's shoes, I do think that's a really poor choice. However, on the other hand, Mamalynn sounds like she's trying to take the leftovers so that Amberlynn can't finish what she doesn't finish. She ordered a soup, so maybe she tried to encourage Amber to go that way. It's just hard to tell without any other footage of the day.
Yes, my mom does like Tommy. Today is the traveling day. Okay, so we are currently at a 7-Eleven, a new 7-Eleven actually, but I'm standing here with Tweaky. My mom and my stepdad, I think they're just gonna get something to drink, and I'm just gonna get a Diet Coke. Normally I get beef jerky on a road trip, but something about being awake early and just feeling like a little anxious for like such a long drive. By the way, I'm going to Wisconsin, like, whoa.
Okay, so I really want to think about this critically. Apathetic Facts said that the entire trip was just enabling Amber, and I don't fully disagree with that, but I do have to add in the additional context that this is her mom, And her mom has not been in her life for a very long time. They do not have a standard mother-daughter relationship at all. Now, imagine that you're Mamalynn and your daughter comes to you and you know she's a very stubborn person. And she says, listen, Mamalynn, I know that people are saying that Tommy is a person who is not healthy to be with, but I'm going up there one way or the other. I can either have her bring me down or I can rent a car and you can take me up. What do you prefer? As a mom, it would be very difficult to say, I'm not going to do that and you need to find your own way, because that's just making the last time you ever see your daughter so hard emotionally. Because amberlynn was ready to move up there. She cleared out her apartment. She took her pets. It's very unlikely that she was ever going to come back and visit Mamalynn based on past history. Like, as a mom, I feel like it would be challenging to not want to spend those final 19 hours with your child. So while I do think that she should have had more pushback about the Tommy thing, and saying that she approved of Tommy in any way is kind of a wild take, I just don't know that I would be able to make a different decision. You know, I don't know if Mamalynn behind the scenes, not in public, was telling Amber, I don't think you should go. I don't think you should do this. But if that's what you're going to do, I'll take you. Because Amber just lies about everything. So it's really hard for me to have a full-fledged opinion on that. And then during this portion, Apathetic cuts in all the times that they went out and got fast food. But I'm like, they're on a trip, a car ride that is almost 20 hours long. Of course you're going to get fast food. Like, it's not reasonable to say that you're going to pack food for such a long road trip. It's not reasonable to say that you're going to stop for a sit-down restaurant along the way. Like, to an extent, you do want to just get it done and out of the way. So I don't know that I can fully judge the choices that were made on this car trip, but I do agree that overall it's a bad situation that I hope Mamalynn did not sign off on behind the scenes, and that it really was just like I don't approve of you doing this, but if this is the last time that I might see you, I want to take you up on it. That's just my 2 cents.
Do you think your family talks about how worried they are for you behind your back? Do they say it to your face? Do they not address it at all? I actually have never thought about it. Like, I genuinely don't know if they talk about being worried about me behind my back. Like, I have never even thought about that before. They've never said anything to my face about it. The only time the topic of like weight comes up is if I bring it up first.
Keep in mind, Amberlynn is an unreliable narrator at the best of times. To me, there's no way that she has not considered the fact that her family is talking about her behind her back, especially given the fact that she has bad blood with Grandma Lynn, and the fact that Tammy has talked to her directly about her weight and then has spilled that there's been more family drama that we don't know about. So there's no way that it has never crossed Amber's mind that her family might be talking about her weight, especially at around the 600-pound mark. Then, before she says that her family never talks about it unless she brings it up, she closes her eyes, which, as we discussed, is one of her lying tells. So I believe it's been a conversation topic in front of her face as well, and that she's just trying to save face so that the internet kind of like starts caring about it a little less, or thinks that she has a good family life, or whatever her angle is. But I don't think she's being honest in this clip.
Oh, she rolled it.
It'd be nice to learn yoga and just like
Yeah.
zen stuff. Like,
Right now I'm in a lot of pain. I think my kidney stone is moving. Wait, what do you do? Oh, you I've never done this before. So is this the butter?
yeah.
Okay, we have story time with my mom. The reason why I have to walk 3 miles to get to any store. All right, Mom, let's hear it.
Okay, so this is my first car I've ever bought. 2 months after I had it, someone dinged the door at my apartment. So now I'm really cautious and I park it as far as I can, like I own a Lamborghini or something.
In clip 1, Amberlynn is rolling a little yoga ball, and she said that she would roll a yoga ball pose and then do the pose, and then Mamalynn could. And Mamalynn was willing to play along, and then she makes this little commentary about it being nice to do yoga, and then of course Amberlynn has an excuse to why she can't. So I feel like that is a little bit of a sign that Mamalynn does try to encourage Amberlynn to get a little bit more active. Then the next clip is the popcorn, where obviously Mamalynn is like, hey, whoa, that's like a lot of butter. So she does comment on her weight. You know, I don't know if Amberlynn would qualify that as commenting on what she's eating, but clearly we see that she does say things. And then in the last clip, I know it's an anecdote about parking far away because of the car, but she could drop Amberlynn off at the front of the store, and she doesn't do that. She parks far away, and they both have to walk into the store and walk back. So I feel like, there are signs that she's trying to do what she can for Amber. Not to mention when Amberlynn had the injectable Wegovy, Mamalynn was the one who helped her out with that, even though it could potentially be triggering for her to do that. But she was willing to do that for her kid. So I feel like there is a lot of enabling going on, but I do feel like she does genuinely care about Amber as well. I think it's just a very hard line to toe. So my final opinion is that yes, Mamalynn is an enabler, but I think it comes from a place of feeling like if she does not do what she needs to do to keep Amber in her life, that she'll be cut out. And I think that's a very valid thing to feel because it's already sort of happened. When Tommy and Amberlynn started dating, Mamalynn made a comment in a video that she hadn't seen Amber in a long time. And, Amberlynn tried to push back on that, but Mamalynn was like, no, I saw you like one time in a month. Like, that's not as much as we had been seeing each other. And then when Amberlynn recently went to the bingo hall with Tommy, we see Mamalynn make a little comment about like, oh, look what a cute couple you are. But we know that she hadn't been to the bingo hall with Amber in quite some time before that, which makes me think that Mamalynn was tossed aside because Amberlynn had the LCU and Tommy, so she didn't like need Mamalynn at that time. And so Mamalynn is trying to get back into Amber's good graces so that she'll go out with her more. Obviously, if you go out and you're like, oh, I don't approve of your girlfriend, like that's not going to improve the chances of seeing your kid again. So I don't know. I just think she's in a hard spot. I don't think she's doing the best that she can for Amber, but I think that she is doing what she thinks is the right move to better their relationship. So I can't fault her too hard, but I do hope that it doesn't lead to a place where Amber, something happens and she feels bad about her lack of involvement there. But at this point, it is what it is. I don't think any of the Lynns are going to change, so we just have to accept it for what it is. If you made it this far, I would really appreciate it if you could like and comment and subscribe if you really liked the content so you can see more like this. And as always, stay Delulu, but not that Delulu. See you in the next one.